Wait, her hair wasn't blue before?
Hello, welcome to the Context Needed podcast. My name's Kyle, joined by Eurovision watching bastard Ryan.
I'm sorry, but Iceland are on a whole other plane of existence, right? So they've got keytars, which are curved like a crescent moon, and then three of them flip these fuckers around and they make a circle around themselves.
And he said he'd never like
I
Eurovision.
don't like this. I just think these guys have hit another plane of existence.
And that's the end of the podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
I'm out.
And we also have Shooty Boy, Mr. Ollie.
Hey.
Just before we start, I want to apologise because yesterday we was meant to be doing the giveaway on Variety Friday, and pretty much the whole week for me stream-wise has kind of gone to shit. So I need to apologise to anyone that was involved in that. For the next 2 Variety Fridays, we're going to do the giveaways on those days, just to make up for the lack of a giveaway yesterday. Neo is okay as well, for anyone that was wondering. He just decided to choke on his food, and now we have a slow feeder for him. And every time you put the food down, he looks at you as if to say, what the fuck is this? Because now he can't wolf his food down. But he's fine, and that's all good. But yeah, we actually wanted to talk about something which is kind of important for a lot of people out in the fucking countryside. Ollie's internet, because
My internet specifically is important to all people in
Specifically
the
affects
countryside.
everyone.
They're
Yes.
always thinking, how's Ollie's internet today? What's it doing?
Exactly. Because, well, you are kind of like, you are dealing with what a lot of people out in the sticks deal with, internet-wise, and just explain, so people can understand how shit your internet is. I'll just explain. My internet is 250 down and 20 up, and I have a guarantee of 248 down and 20.3 up. They're my guarantees. What's yours, Ollie, at the moment?
What's yours? Well, it's Ryan's as well, just for additional information.
We're like at 60 download, like 20 up.
So yeah,
Nothing special, but we're not paying loads for ours.
Well, actually, so I pay about, I think mine's about £38 a month for mine, and mine's literally just the internet, nothing else.
We get my mum and dad's phones and my sister's phones in with ours because it's EE. And I think we get a landline as well because my mum and dad still use that because they're ancient.
What's this
So,
archaic
good old-
technology you're talking about? A landline?
Yeah,
A landline.
landline. Yeah, we have a landline. You know, it's how we talk to the carrier pigeon callers. So.
Hello, O'Leary residents.
Hello.
We've actually got one of those old phones in one of our rooms. So like whenever I pick up, I'm like, "Hello, you're through to Ryan."
At my grandma's house, they have like an antique phone as like an ornament in the kitchen. I don't know if
I
it's
love
still
those.
there, but it's
Is
literally
it like
one
a
of those.
teledial?
It's a proper teledial one where you pick up for the ear and then you speak into the phone.
Oh,
it's a
that's
proper
awesome.
old school one. It's really cool looking.
And probably still more efficient at sending information than my current internet. So
Probably is. So yeah, do you want to explain the shit
So-
show that is your internet?
I'd just like to specify, like you've been to where I live. It's
Yes.
not bumfuck middle of nowhere, is it? Like
I've-
I'm 5 minutes out of a town centre.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
I'm
when I say you
rural.
live in the bumfuck middle of nowhere, I say that as kind of a joke, as you're our country boy on the stream. But when I go to places like where my dad lives, my dad really does live in the bumfuck middle of nowhere.
I work in the bumfuck middle of nowhere.
The closest thing for my dad is something like a 10-minute drive away, and even then, it's just the fish and chip shop. There isn't a town
whereas-
nearby.
I could be in the town, provided there was no traffic. I could be in Shrewsbury town centre in about 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not like away from civilization, and there's lots of villages around as well, all of which have fibre internet as well. So it's not like it's not an area of infrastructure. But I have, well, I tell you what. You know what? This is probably going to murder my connection for a second, but just for the sake of this, I'll stay quiet a second, but I'm going to do a speed test and actually see what I get right now.
Watch him freeze up.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He will probably completely freeze up. We may also get a few weird noises as that happens. Here we go. Oh, wow. So for
I
the
used to
people
be
that are
hitting
just
speeds
listening,
like that.
the people just listening, he is hitting a blistering speed of 4.2 megabits per second down. Oof. He could download and watch 1 minute of HD footage for that.
1 minute of HD pornography.
I could watch.
It's actually completely frozen.
Could
so I guess
download a
it's doing
5-minute Flash video in 10 minutes.
I think because it was doing the upload test, you'd just frozen like that. So
Is it alright now? It should.
gone
I've
on
just
Yeah,
turned my
it's all
Wi-Fi
good
off now.
Still
So
good.
that was 4.2 down and 0.89 up.
Jesus Christ.
Now, luckily for me, Airband are installing 250 meg fibre on Monday, or should be, which is 250 down, 50 up, which I'm fucking ecstatic about because this has been what my internet.
50 up.
This has been my
great.
internet. Yeah, this has been my internet for as long as I can remember. Like, it's never been. This is the fastest it's ever been, as well, I would like to add. Apart from the one day where it was 10 meg by some miracle. I don't know why. I know it was literally one day and then it went straight back down, so. I don't know, but.
They realised they turned on the booster for you. Like, shit, no, turn it off. He's not paying over 50 quid.
Yeah, almost. Fucking hell. Well, that's the thing. So this is the service we're getting, and it was £43 a month. So
And that's just for the broadband, isn't it?
just the broadband. Like, that's because we also get, like, because it's with BT as part of the package, we get like the sports stuff for Sky, the landline, and I think that included like my parents' email thing as well. Which who the fuck pays for an email?
They do. I don't think they do them anymore.
They
Yeah, I
do.
don't think that, no, I don't
BT
think,
might, but most other got rid of them.
I don't think they add them in as part of a package anymore.
They're part of it. They're literally, if you're with BT, because what we've had to do for my mum's email now is once our BT expires, if she wants to keep that email address, she's got to upgrade it to like premium email to keep that email address.
Just tell her to get a new email address. You know, there's a really good site you can go to. It's called Outlook.com. They give them for free.
Yeah, or Gmail or something like that. But yeah, to be honest, I'll probably get her to change to it at some point. But in the meantime, that's the deal. But so I called BT up. I can't remember what day it was now. I think it was like
Wednesday or
Tuesday or
Tuesday.
Wednesday. And I basically called them up and said, "Look, who did I call first? No, I called their USO department. And for anyone who doesn't know, USO stands for Universal Service Obligation, and that's basically the department of BT that manages the Universal Service Obligation as laid down by Ofcom, and a lot of providers signed up to this. Basically, say will abide by this kind of code,
this standard
as part of, basically, yeah. And as part of that, Ofcom's minimum kind of required internet connection is 10 meg down and 1 up. So obviously not getting that or even half of that.
Yeah.
So I called them up and said, look, you know, our connection's awful. We've been offered this great connection by Airband, the company who have offered us the upgrade, who I've heard mixed reviews about, but largely pretty good. But I mean, hey, they can't be fucking worse than what we've had so far, can they?
Yeah.
Because they never fix the line if there's a fault. They can't be arsed. They don't do anything. I don't know why my parents were so hell bent on staying with them. It's literally just, oh well, it's BT. We know who they are. It's like, yes, but they're shit.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you know who they are. It's like, oh yeah, you know this guy who beats you up all the time. It doesn't mean you're going to stay friends with him.
But I know he is. He's consistent, you know.
He consistently gives me a black eye.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is they follow the Ofcom thing, but it's a little bit like the Geneva suggestion, but nobody really follows it.
To their credit, as you'll get to in a minute, that having all this information to hand worked out really well for me. So I spoke to their Universal Service Obligation team and just said, look, Airband have come to me and offered this internet, but my parents aren't very keen on switching provider, and ideally, if you could offer us a comparable line, we would rather stay with you since we've got an existing contract, because our contract expired in like February 2023, so we would have been fucking locked in this contract.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I remember you saying that really fucking threw me was just how much of a scam it felt like with you saying that you was locked into a contract until 2023, and you started it in 2020, didn't you?
Something like that. I asked them how much it would cost to leave that contract. Any guesses?
You said they were paying it all
of your payments for the rest of
Pretty
the
much.
contract.
It was £666 to leave the contract. That's what they want.
Leave a contract where they're giving you subpar service.
Exactly, which I could use to my advantage. So I spoke to their team, and they basically said, "Well, I'm trying to think what they said now. They basically said, yeah, so the way you can be marked down as eligible for the USO if there's no infrastructure in your area." So they basically said, well, we can't offer you anything, but because Airband have offered you something, you're not eligible to go down on the universal service obligation, so we can't flag you as someone who needs help. So I was like, right,
which
okay.
Which is wrong based of what I read.
Exactly. So they passed me on to their accounts team. So I went and spoke to them, and they were like, well, actually, the way it works is I got thrown around between like 5 people at BT, but they actually said the way it works is you need to before they can make you eligible, they have to exhaust all options, which is fair enough. Like, I totally get that. So they said, well, we've looked and we can't improve your fixed line. There's nothing we can offer you. Like, you've got the best we can offer you, which I think is just piss poor in itself.
It's 2021. We have
It shouldn't be possible.
We have Elon Musk making it so that people literally in the middle of the fucking deserts can get something crazy like 100 down or something like that with Starlink.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm sorry, that's not a good enough excuse right now.
You're telling me that government subsidised fucking British Telecom can't get a fast connection to a house 5 minutes out of like a reasonable sized town?
I mean,
where fibre is available a mile up the road.
Yeah, even if it was just something like they piggybacked off of someone else's line, which would be hilarious, seeing as BT are meant to own the lines, and just piggybacked off. And even if it was just something like that, it was a split line from airdrop, where rather than it being 200 down, 60 up, it'd be like 100 down, 30 up kind of thing.
That would have been fine.
Way
I would
good
have
for
taken that. Yeah, I would have taken that. I would have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. But they said, but what we can do is, they said, well, we'll see. We do offer a 4G internet, and I thought it could work because I often tether off of my phone using the 4G, and I've got like 70 meg off that. So I thought, well, if you could offer us something like that, and it means we could stay with BT, I guess that could work. So I said, so can you offer us that? And he looked. He said, I'm not actually sure. Let me just check the coverage checker, check the area, and sure enough, he said the outside signal would be okay, but indoor would be absolutely terrible. So that writes off their 4G router as well. He said, so with that information, I can basically tell you unequivocally that we cannot give you a better service.
Yeah.
So that technically means you are eligible by Ofcom regs to leave the contract. But he didn't really know who to pass me on to. He said, what you can do is speak to Airband to basically get it on paper that they can give us a better internet connection, and then speak to the USO team again and speak to them, and they said, oh, and they should be able to basically mark you as someone who's eligible to be able to leave for free. So I spoke to Airband, and they were fine. Went back to the USO, and they were like, yeah, that's not how it works at all. That they basically just told you a load of bollocks. It sounds like you've just been fobbed off. I was like, right, okay. And I was like, well, is that anything you can help me with? He's like, no, mate, sorry. Like, so I was like, great. So like, now what? So
that's one of the most annoying things ever, when you go back and forth, and then you go to one person, it's like, oh yeah, you've been told lies, and then it's just like,
yeah, it's like, great.
I think I'm okay with them saying, oh, I'm sorry, that person's giving you the wrong information, but the thing that pisses me off with what happened to you there was when you asked, well, is there anything you can do to help? Nah, fam. No. Yeah. That's not how customer service works. Do something.
Not to mention, all of this communication was within BT. It's not like they said, oh, we'll go talk to this company, and then the other company said, oh, they can do it for you. It's like, no, this was all within BT. Yeah. So BT have basically given me conflicting information that another BT staff member said, no, that's not right. So at that point, I was like, right, okay. So I just called up BT's fault line with their broadband, and I explained the problem. Initially, the guy's like, "Well, there's nothing I can actually help you with here," and I was like, "Well, actually, your people told me that I can't get." Because I basically said I want to leave the contract, and according to Ofcom regs, I should be able to leave because you're not giving me the minimum. And he was like, I don't know about that. And then I was like, well, I've already spoken to your people, and they've told me I can't have a better fixed line, and I'm not eligible for the better 4G line either. And it's like, well, actually, then, in that case, since I'm the fault, it was something like, because I'm the fault liaison manager, I can help you with that. And he basically just like passed me on to, I think it was their, what do you call it, the loyalty team or something like that, with a note basically saying all options have been exhausted, so I can leave the contract without paying a penny. So sure enough, they passed me on again, and I spoke to them and said, yeah, so look, I don't want to, all I want to do is drop the broadband. Like, my parents still want the landline and their BT Sport and whatever, but we've got a better option for the broadband, and you guys can't give us anything better, so we want out. So they checked it, like, yeah, all right, fine. So basically, unless I hadn't dug, they would have tried to charge us £666 to leave that contract.
It's one of those annoying
You shouldn't
things.
have to do that.
It's like fair enough. Like, I understand, like, as a business trying to hold people in business, like, at the end of the day, that's how they get the money.
Yeah,
and
It's how they make money.
I understand that, but it shouldn't have been the back and forth it should have been. It should have been, you made a call to them to talk about a certain thing, and they went, okay, we're not sure about that, we'll pass you to this person, talk to them, and then it would have been, okay, well, all you need then, go talk to AirDrop, we've checked all your lines, we can't do any better. You talk to AirDrop, you get it in writing from them, yes, we can get a better line, and then you go up and goes, okay, yeah, well, we can't do better, they can, you can get out your contract now. That's exactly how it should have gone.
That's like the bottom line of what it was, but it was more so the case of, had I not called them and pestered like 4 different people, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Had my parents called them up, because they wouldn't have known anything about the Ofcom regs and stuff like that, BT would have charged them that money to leave their contract. What should have happened is BT should have actually just looked at us as a customer and gone, oh, we can't offer them any better, so either we'll reduce their price, or if they ask to leave, no questions asked, it should have been, oh yeah, we see you haven't got enough. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Off you go.
That should have been.
It should have been. Like, the problem was there as well, you had to call multiple numbers for BT, so you're going through to, like, all these different departments. It sounded like none of these departments really had any fucking idea what was going on with each.
They didn't.
I know it's a massive business, and that's fair enough. But none of them have. It sounds like none of them have put anything of like this in a ticket logging system of sorts.
Yeah, it didn't sound like any notes were put on your thing.
Because it's like when you went through to the faults guy, the faults guy's like, "Well, what?" And it's like,
yeah,
but that's not his fault. It's until you told him exactly what happened.
As soon as I spoke to him, he was like, "Right, I can help you with this." And he was the first person who actually marked something down, because he was the one who basically put the note in to say, no better options available, you can get out of the contract.
Well,
everyone else was just like,
it's probably just him who's got access to the system because he's the service desk, basically.
The thing is, all these other people, they would have, because the way the systems most likely work based off of when I worked in a call center, you get through security, it pulls them to your account, you can add notes to the account. Anyone who gets you through security to talk about your account will be able to add notes to
Should have access to the account.
Should have access to add notes.
Sounds like there's just all a bunch of feckless gits, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really sounds like, rather than, because at the end of the day, whenever I did it, it was I had to put notes every single time I spoke to someone, even if it was just something as simple like, got them through security, phone line dropped. I had to put a note on the system because they came through to me and I did something by looking at their account, because the whole idea is I have to mark the account, not just to show that they've called up and I've gone into the account, but mainly it's to show a paper trail of who looked at the account. So I looked at it, therefore I need to write down on it to say I've looked at this for GDPR and whatnot. And it just seems like none of them ever put notes on it, and it pisses me off, because I know phone centers do that, and I always make a note to always say, like, if I've got a complaint with something and I feel like it's not been dealt with correctly, I will literally say there, look, I want you to make sure this is noted up on my system, that it's stating that this, and this happened. And they go, yeah, I can note that up, and I'll literally say, I'm happy to wait while you write those notes.
Yeah. But I mean, it's all sorted now, so hopefully the new stuff's getting installed on Monday. I'm hoping. They said it would take like 5 days for it to be surveyed, and then I'd get my date. But the woman on the phone definitely 100% said install. But I think it's because it's such a small area. There's only like a handful of properties. When they installed the line like a couple of months ago, because I remember seeing all the works going on, they probably already surveyed what would need to be done to get it to each house already. So I reckon it's a case of they'll just turn up and do it. It's probably about 30 metre of wire to do.
Yeah, it might even just be okay, bish, glash, just turn it on in there for me. Done.
Done. Yeah. They literally I think all they've got to do is run like the fibre optic cable from the cabinet, like literally like 50 metres over there, down the existing line. They'll probably just coil it round or something like that, and then to the house, and that's it. But like
they probably won't coil it with the fibre optics. They'll probably just run alongside.
They'll run it alongside.
Fibre doesn't play well when it's twisted. It'll just be nice for you to actually have, what's called modern day speeds.
If this is all successful,
like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If this is all successful, you will have faster internet than me.
I know. I have.
What the fuck's going on there?
I basically have what was the standard broadband speed in about 2006. Basically, that's basically where I am.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what pisses me off.
You say about that as well. In one of my old mates, he lives bang in the middle of where I am in another town, like village, like / town.
Yeah,
which both had fibre and decent internet, and it was the route. There's nothing like it went over a train line, yeah, but from the other side it didn't. And it's like there's literally no reason for him to have shit internet, but his internet was dropping, and he was with Sky, which was even worse. So I was like, fucking Sky were awful.
I always find it funny because like whenever I see people bitching about stuff with broadband and stuff on like Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, people bitch about stuff, but they're never actually doing anything about it. Like I see, because let's face it, I'd say most of the people in the UK, especially in built-up areas, most of them are probably with Virgin Media because they offer the good TV packages and good internet speeds all in one. So a lot of people will be with them. Yeah. So I see a lot of people bitching about Virgin Media more than anything else. And they bitch about the connection and all this, and I'm just there like, well, for one, their routers are not very good in my opinion. That's why I went and got my own. I have my own router, and I
don't think any of their routers are good, like any of the companies.
Yeah, none of the companies' routers are good. None of them are also secure. So if you're out there and you're listening and you've got a bog standard router from one of these companies and you haven't changed the password for it, and I'm not just meaning the Wi-Fi password, I mean the administration password to access the settings on the thing, you need to change those now. Because I promise you it will take all of 10 minutes for someone to get through that kind of shit. It's so easy. So I went and got my own router. That solved a load of my coverage issues, a load of my connection issues. But then it's just also things like people bitch about it dropping and failing and all this, and like they never actively like try and resolve the issues. They never reboot them. They never call up and talk about it like, oh, it's just constantly going out. It's like, well, call the fucking site then, because for all you know, there could be an issue with the line. As soon as I had issues 2 weeks ago, and then I think a good month or so ago, and it basically, my line was fine, but my upload just died. It went from 20 to like 0.6, and it just didn't change.
Welcome to my world.
Pretty much. It felt like I was trying to upload something like you. But I called them, and I went through all the security, and fair enough, there is a long wait. It does suck waiting, but Corona, all that kind of stuff, they've not got
whatever.
People. I'm happy to wait. Got through to someone, and got through to the tech department, and I basically explained, you don't need to use any of the scripts for this. I work on a service desk with networks. I've done this, and this. I've ran these tests. Here's all my results. This is what's still happening. Can you check your side for me? And you could tell she wasn't used to having that. She went, Just a second, sorry. You if I pop you on hold for a second? Yeah, sure. Put me on hold. She's obviously blatantly going to like a supervisor or something that actually does the tech side, because I think a lot of the people on those departments just read a script and do a few things.
Yeah.
5-10 minutes later, she comes back. Okay, I just need to run a few things my side for you, and they've ran. I think it's called a hit package or something. I think it just basically blasts data down the line at my side to then return a blast of data, and that solved it. And I was back up and running fine.
The pipes, bro. Clearing the pipes.
No, you joke, but that seems to be what sometimes happens with my internet, is that it's like it locks up, and then you do something like a speed test, and it's like that influx of packets, like it's almost like a clogged pipe that frees.
It's like clearing your exhaust in your car.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because it's data, but that seems to be how it works.
It's really strange because like you said, it shouldn't work. It is data. It's not something physically clogging the line.
No,
but doing that blast of data did resolve it. But this was the thing. I called them up, I got through, and I was on hold waiting before getting through for 20 minutes, and then the call itself was another 10 minutes. Add another 5 to 10 minute hold. That's 40 minutes, which, fair enough, is 40 minutes I would have preferred to be doing something else. But at the end of the day, I had them on loudspeaker next to me while I was waiting on hold, watching TV anyway. So I wasn't losing my time. I was still watching
most
stuff.
of the time as well. What you want to be doing is on the computer and on the internet.
Yeah.
Like a majority of our content we consume as people, as free, is probably via the internet, isn't it?
I'd say 95% of what I consume is through the internet. Because unless I'm watching a Blu-ray or playing a game that I've downloaded locally, like Persona downstairs, for instance, I'd say it's probably actually more 85% of what I consume is internet-based. Because I don't have a TV package. I don't pay for a TV license. I only watch streaming services and YouTube.
Exactly. And with that, internet is the key thing that you want to be going after. It's like when we're at work and we're sat there and some dumb fucker comes through to us and goes, I'm just not having a good time connecting to this system. I'm like, well, seeing as have you contacted your ISP, seeing as I can't connect to you at all either? And they're like, no, I thought I'd call you first. I'm like, what the fuck do you think I'm going to do if you can't connect to absolutely anything? Yeah. I'm your IT support for your work, and you can't connect to anything on your personal phone, your work computer, and everything. Do you think that's my problem? No, of course it's not my fucking problem. Go onto your ISP's thing, give them a bit of chip, because most of them are paying fucking triple what I pay, because they'll all have been robbed, because they're not clued up. It's like you're saying about your parents, Ollie, and it's not a case of people are stupid, it's a case of people just don't know about that thing.
They don't realise how bad it is.
Well, for them, the internet's just like, to your parents, it's probably like, holy shit, this is like the future, just having the ability to do that at the speeds they're doing.
Like you say,
when you get the new package in...
Your parents have only just discovered Netflix. Welcome to 2010.
But that was the problem, is that our internet, like, unless it's one person at home... And even then, it can't really even stream 1080. We can just about sometimes stream like 720 at 60 FPS or 1080 at 2530 if we're lucky on a good day. Yeah. But it's like, say I'm in here playing games or we're doing this. If my parents were to go start watching something on Netflix now, that's it. Game over.
All gone.
Like, and that's what I was trying to explain to them, why we need a better internet. Because everything is using the connection. We've got 3 smart TVs in the house now, and we can't use them. That's a 4K TV, and I've never seen anything on 4K on it because I can't stream anything in 4K.
No, even if that was the only device on in the house, your speed would not be able to facilitate it. It doesn't have enough data. You need to get that
fucking carrier pigeon out.
No, honestly, it's even stuff like sometimes we've been like playing Elite or something like that, and I'll notice my ping's bad, and I'll turn my phone's Wi-Fi off, and I'll just say to Danny, "Oh, just turn your Wi-Fi off." And my connection will go fine, and all it'll be is, some app's just downloading an update, and it's like, it's 200 meg. Well, yeah, on a modern connection, that's that. But for me, that's 15 minutes downloading, and then it's going to kill everything else. It's like, people haven't had to deal with this for so long, but I'm stuck in fucking 2006. Mom, stop playing the internet, I'm on Minecraft! It's
trying to make a phone call!
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, it's fucking 2021. We shouldn't have to fucking deal with this anymore. No. And the fact that my parents couldn't understand how far, but like when I was trying to explain the speeds, I was like, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, 250 meg isn't even like it's fast, and for me it's mega fucking fast. Even 50 meg is like unbelievably fast for me. But like I was talking to a mate the other day down in Gloucester, and it's like, oh yeah, where I'm moving, like they've got 5 gig, and it's like that is just
no, it won't be. It'll be 5. It'll
Are
be
you
on
sure?
yeah, no, there isn't a 5 gig LAN network. I mean,
Not yet.
the fastest commercial.
About a gig.
A gig, yeah. The fastest commercial we've got,
Even
I
that.
think, is a gig.
If he
Even
gets
that is
business, he might be able to get 5 gig.
It
No,
might
I think
be.
the fastest business is 4 gig. They're
Were
probably
they
like,
not getting 5 gig
I
out
think-
soon? I thought 5 gig was rolling
I've got a
out.
feeling data centers.
That's
like,
what I.
data centers will
Yeah.
most likely have 5 gig, but the thing is, a lot of these data centers, they won't have a single line. They will have they'll have lines for specific businesses, because when you pay for a
know.
data center, you can pay. You don't just pay for your storage, you also pay for the speed of the storage, and that doesn't just mean the speed
Yeah.
of the backup, but also the speed of your connection to it. So you can say, I want this much storage, but it's going to be active storage, so I want it to have its own dedicated 1 gig line, and you basically
Yeah,
pay
'cause
for
I
them
know-
to get a new line in.
Because I know like the actual theoretical like yield of a fiber line is something like a 400 terabyte speed or something like that.
It depends on the fiber there is, because I actually did a bit of looking into this.
There's different types of fiber.
There's very many different types of fiber, down to not just obviously like bi-way or single way. There's different core counts. There's different. There's loads. It's honestly a fucking science in itself. And
Yeah.
the fastest one they've probably got is probably something crazy like 400.
That was probably the
terabytes.
best. That's
But
I
I've
mean,
got a
don't get me
feeling
wrong,
that's
pushing the
probably
limit.
in like prototype, just science land at the minute.
But the fact that that's possible tells me that a 5 gig connection is totally feasible anyway.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
hell, a 1 gig connection, that is like, honestly, I cannot comprehend what that must be like to use in terms of how fast it must be. Like, I'm going to download this game. Done. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Well,
It's
we
just
was kind of taking the piss, weren't we? We was saying how we was going to, if BT were being an arsehole to you, we was saying how we would just basically either have you drive to me, give me a thumb
Or have a carrier
drive,
pigeon.
I'd download the game, put it on the thumb drive, and you'd drive back, and it would be quicker than you downloading it at home.
Not
Or
even that, carrier
hire
pigeon.
Yeah, we were saying we'd hire
Yeah.
a carrier pigeon.
Which I did the maths on it, on like how quickly they can cover distance and stuff, and it would have been faster. If I wanted
Yeah,
to
'cause-
download something like a 150 gig game, that would
So
have been faster.
didn't you do it based off of Flight Sim, the new Flight Sim, which was like 200 gig, and for you said it was going to take something crazy like 2 days.
3 days,
Oh,
wasn't
and the rest. It was more. I think it was something. I swear it was something like
111
days or
hours,
something
I
like
think
that.
I remember.
it was. It was, and that would be if it was at a constant speed.
A
which it
constant
never
peak
is.
speed, yeah.
It probably would have been in real world. It probably would have been 5 days actually.
Well, and even then, what if like you're going through it and you're on about your internet going slow and stuff and freezing up, and like Kai was saying, we're thinking, what if it got stuck and then broke?
Yeah, and then you
which
get a
is probably more
stoppage.
susceptible to do because it's such a shit speed.
It makes me wonder if the line's damaged somewhere, because it seems like whenever we have a really hot spell of weather, and it's been dry for ages, and then we have the first bit of rain after it, it seemed like it was always worst when we got rain after a long period of dryness.
It
So I
wouldn't
think-
surprise me if there's some degradation in the lines then, because
There's gotta
obviously
be.
heat and cold affects metals.
But I think, well, we haven't even got copper cables. We've got aluminium cables from the
Oh.
80s.
Tasty data transfers there.
Exactly. So that's obviously partly to blame why it's so bad. And it's probably a case of, well, they've got no incentive to maintain lines out here. So I think that's all it is. They've literally just gone, whatever, not worth upgrading it. Whereas Airband, they're part of, let me see what it says. It's, connecting Shropshire. So I think it was basically like a government subsidised things, basically saying, okay, well, let's get connections to rural houses.
Yeah.
What fucks me off is that, as you will see hopefully soon, if ever you guys come down and we'll go shooting, where I work at the range is in literally bumfuck middle of nowhere in the Shropshire Hills.
Yeah.
And I did a speed test on the computer at work the other day, and they have 30 meg down and 20 up.
Is that a business line?
Possibly, but just the fact that the connection can when you see where it is, the fact that just any connection can get that there is incredible.
Because a lot of the time when you've got rural things like that with business connections, they usually do things like they can do, I think, like microwave internet or like
it's not microwave. I know it's not
or something like
yeah,
that.
they can do like
can
tell from tower to tower, can't they?
Yeah,
I know that is often, but I know they have a fixed line.
Okay, if that's the
But
case,
that's what
it's
I mean.
most
When you
likely
see where it is,
it might have been bought in from that business line connection
it
kind
might
of
have
thing.
been. I mean, it might have been bought in as part of, because there's like 3 or 4 houses down by the range as well, so it might have been that like they just
Could have
put it down
piggybacked
there.
off them,
but, like,
yeah.
But when you see where it is, the fact that that place can get that connection, and then me just outside of a town can't.
Yeah,
that's what fucked me off.
It's always. I mean, you hear stories about it a lot. I mean, I think I was watching Linus Tech Tips video on Skylink, and obviously they were talking more about America. But it's just crazy when you think like, I think it was something stupid like 20% of Americans have internet connections that are only just about the same speed or just above dial-up, and there's something stupid like 3%.
Well, that's what mine's like.
Yeah, 3% with no internet, and like you may think, oh, 3% isn't a lot. It's like, but America's a
lot of people.
Lot of people.
I guess that'll be because I guess that's it. Rural America compared to even in the most remote part of rural UK, if you're on a road, you're never more than about 40 minutes from a town.
Yeah.
Really.
America is
on a
the
road,
proper wilderness, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
It's got...
Obviously, like if you're hiking out, you can get pretty far out there if you're hiking out on foot. But if you're on a road in a car, I would say at no point are you ever about 40 minutes away from at least a major-ish town.
Yeah. Somewhere there'd be some commerce kind of thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. And you would expect there to be apparently, to be fair, most of the UK is actually pretty good for the internet. Apparently, they estimate there's only 600,000 people in the country now with a connection lower than that Ofcom, like regulated speed.
Well, and even then, you've got to think about people who just don't. Like my nan doesn't have an internet connection.
No, exactly.
Yeah, the thing is
that's probably part of that percentage.
Yeah, the thing is that there will be people out there, which I mean, obviously it's very rare, but there'll be people out there that don't need it necessarily. I mean, I used to work with someone.
Absolutely.
I used to work with someone back in McDonald's. She was like, she always did the early morning cleans. I think her name was like Maria or something. She was an older lady, really, really nice. I think she was like Italian, and she was fucking scary at times. But she was a really nice lady. But they made it so obviously when you worked at McDonald's, all your paychecks were done through email. And
she couldn't.
She had no internet. She had no internet. She never had an email address. So, and and I think there was one point they were saying how, oh yeah, well we need to move you from paper over to email because we need to send them out to you. And she basically said to them, no, you don't, because you legally have to give me a paycheck.
Yeah, I don't have to have internet.
Yeah, I don't legally have to have internet. You legally have to provide me with a paycheck, so you are going to continue printing it off and giving it to me.
Yeah,
that fucking printer ink ordered, dickhead.
We still like at my family company. We still do paychecks on paper.
I wish I would still get mine on paper. It's so much easier when you're dealing with like government forms, because it's all well and good moving everything over to email and stopping printing stuff, and I'm all for moving things away from paper. But when it comes to things like your paycheck, it should be emailed to you and given to you in paper, in my opinion, because it's so fucking annoying when you're trying to do things like get a new passport, for instance, which I had to do recently, or apply for credit for something that a company you've never dealt with, or any kind of form of like applying for something important. You have to have proof of like who you are. And a lot of the time that includes a paper, like a photo ID and a paper trail of a bill or a paycheck. And it's just like,
you know what gets worse is when they put it in like with ours, where they put in some shite web portal. I'm like, just fucking email it to me. I don't want some shite portal. I've got to try and log into and remember the fucking details to log into. It's yet another password I've got to remember. And like, you hear these fucking users, oh, I've got so many passwords to remember. I will fucking rip your legs from your body and show you the amount of fucking passwords I have to remember.
I remember. I think going on to the passwords.
So many. Oh, what's this MFA?
Yeah, I think going on to the fucking annoyance we have to deal with there is, I do need to say this 'cause obviously. I mean, I'm guessing you know what multi-factor authentication is, Ollie, don't you? With like having a code sent to your phone, yeah. So
yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a normal thing. It's not that difficult. And I remember I had to speak with someone. She was complaining that she had to deal with one of them, and she said, "Oh, it's stupid. I don't understand why I have to do this." And it's just like, I have literally like 4 or 5 applications in my phone.
We've got 5.
Just for multi-factor authentication. One of which has 10 different fucking connections in it. Now, only 3 of those are for work. I mean, 3 of those are for personal. The rest of them are just for work.
I've still got 2 phones for them because I can't be asked to get it swapped over from this fucker to my new phone. I charge up an old phone just to use fucking multi-factor, and they're like, "Oh, multi-factor," and I'm there explaining it to some of this user. You put your password in, and then you get code. It tell you use code. And they're like, "I just can't log in." I'm like, "Can you read English?" Okay.
Yeah.
What does that fucking say there?
I think it's the...
Please enter code sent to your mobile on MFA app, whatever. Fucking read it.
I think that's that's the thing though, because that kind of also ties in with the whole internet thing we're saying, how people just don't know. And it's like the biggest issue I think with a lot of people, I'm not going to say like generation or whatever, but a lot of fucking people, because young people are just as fucking bad for this, is
there are.
They no one reads into stuff. No one looks into stuff.
No.
Like, it's like...
Don't try.
No, there's no attempt. And it's like... Again, it's like when I was saying about the issues, it's like no one goes online and does a quick search to see, is there something going wrong? Are there issues? And I think as much as social media is a good thing to help keep people connected, this fucking social media is one of the worst things as well for this, because the amount of times I see people on fucking Facebook, rather than going directly to Virgin or Sky or BT and checking their status, because all of these sites, as crap as these status checkers they have on their site is, have a status checker. I see once a week someone posting on Facebook, anyone having issues with their Virgin? It's like, do you have friends on your Facebook that live next to you? Because if you're asking people in other ends of the country, it doesn't matter, because they're not on the same connection as you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I see it for other stuff as well. Like, does anyone know what time this shop shuts? Google the fucking shop. Stop asking someone else to do it for you.
Honest to God, it's just like,
peeve of mine.
Who are you? Like, they're like, "Oh, I love that internet." Okay, fucking use it. Use it properly.
It's like you're saying as well. Like with, I will say, I feel like without specifically naming, there's also my parents can be terrible for it. Is they don't try. I say like they don't just look at what's in front of them. Like I'm trying to think of an example. I mean, like...
It's like the internet.
Like,
it's like people go, "Oh..." Sorry. They're like, "Oh, I don't know what this Google's about. You've had it all your life." I'm like, "Yeah, and I'm 20-something years old now. So you should have fucking picked it up by now. It's been 20 years you've had."
Not to mention, it's like, and when I started, it was new to me too, and I fucking figured it out when I was 14.
Exactly.
I think
it's not hard.
The phrase that pisses me off, I heard it.
I already know what's coming.
Fucking lot. And it's not about... this is a different one. It's not that I'm not tech savvy. That one does piss me off, but I've explained that one on here multiple times.
Yeah.
But another one that pisses me off is people that fucking turn to you and say, "Oh, you have it all easy with this new technology." And it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise this technology was locked down only so young people could use it." Yeah. Everyone has access to this technology. Everyone is available to use this technology. You don't go to Google and it asks you how old you are, and if you're over 29 years old, it says, "Sorry, you're not allowed to use this." Everyone can use them.
Fuck off, you fossil!
So don't
Get
come
off
to
the
me. Don't come to
internet.
me and say you have it all easy, because fucking all of us have this easy. You just have to put some fucking mind to it.
You joke, Ryan, but I feel like that's honestly what some people probably think is going to happen when they try and use some of these things. It's like,
Pop up
well,
of
how do
me.
I use this?
Jog
It's
on,
like,
you fossil bastard!
are you old? Are you old? You're not allowed to use this. It's like, look at the words in front of you, read them, think about what those words in that combination mean, and then do that thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking easy. It's,
I mean,
it pisses me off.
Do you know what? It's like people not being able to say authentication to us, Kyle. The amount of people I have come fucking through. Kyle's got fucking dyslexia. I get people coming through. Authentication.
Honestly, none of them know
Authentication.
how to say or spell authentication. And it's like I said, I'm heavily dyslexic, like ridiculously heavily dyslexic.
Yeah.
And I can spell authentication. Yet we have people come
They
through
start
like
reading it as if it's-
authentication.
Like authentication. I'm like, it's not hieroglyphics, dickhead. Just read it as it says it.
I think they're yeah. Yeah, you're not a fucking paleontologist. But it's not cave paintings, it's a fucking word that has meaning outside of this context as well.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things, like you're saying, like with people just not reading what's on screen.
I'm not
in front of them.
trying
It's like,
to read it either.
It's
like
the not
being-
trying.
It's the thing where it's just like, let's face it, when you was a kid and you couldn't find something, and you'd ask your mum like where it was, and I used to always get, it's like, search for it fucking properly, because if I come up there and find it within 2 seconds, you'll get fucking battered. That's what I used to get if I couldn't find something, and it was just the whole idea, you know, just put your fucking mind to it and actually move stuff out the way and look properly to try and find it. My mum would still always come up and find it in 2 minutes, even though I'd fucking looked everywhere, but it's the same kind of thing, but the opposite side, which is like, use your fucking brain and look properly, look at what's going on properly kind of thing, because otherwise you're just going to waste your own fucking time and waste my time asking me. So I have just disconnected briefly, so these guys won't notice that I'm gone. Sorry for everyone that's listening to this now offline. This is very strange how this has happened. So it appears my connection should be coming back.
That's a better one. That's a better one.
Oh, here we go. Sorry about that, guys.
He's back. Oh, he's alive.
Sorry about that. Just had a random packet drop that just disconnected
Oh,
me.
so-
We're just there like, oh no, not again. It's fucked.
Oh man, the pose you froze in for us as well. It's like a perfect like face that you'd pull when you realise the connection's dropped as well.
See, I didn't realise the connections dropped until I'd finished my sentence, and usually when I finish a sentence, like I'll stop.
Someone will say something.
Someone will rebuttal, and no one rebutted for a second. I was like, we've dropped connection.
Whoops. Oh man.
And now I don't
feel
know.
like
we've got 15 minutes left. That's how long.
That's all right. We'll be all right. I feel like that's.
Can I talk about what I've done today? Can we talk a bit
go
about
ahead.
it?
Yeah, I'll drop in.
Went on a pretty decent date, Dave. That was the first time I've been taken on a date.
Did you have a girl?
Got cooties.
Oh, that's gay.
You went on a date with a girl? That's gay.
Ryan's got a girlfriend.
That's gay,
Ryan's
bro.
got a girlfriend.
Ryan and Jay sitting in a tree.
I don't know. Are you guys bothered about spoilers? Or spoilers for Monkey versus Lizard.
Monkey
I
wins. I already know. Monkey wins.
No,
on
Monkey
moral
doesn't
standing, Monkey wins.
Monkey does not win. Monkey gets bad inside ground. In Lizard wins.
Well, there you go then. Now we know.
And then there's Big Metal Lizard, who fries the very over the top Asian guy in it. It's like, oh, lovely.
Yeah. I'm kind of not massively interested in watching that, to be honest with you. Actually, you saying that about the cinemas has kind of brought me to another thing that I kind of need to rant on with fucking technology. Because me, Ryan, and Matt's missus, we've all booked to go watch a movie in the cinemas. It was the Demon Slayer movie.
Demon Slayer.
Because it's an anime movie, a lot of the time what they'll do in cinemas, in Showcase anyway, they will put like an event cinema on where basically the subtitled one will show once or twice and that's it, kind of thing. So you have to get your tickets in early. And they did have the dubbed version from Funimation being shown more, but the dub of Demon Slayer is pretty fucking trash. So we're trying to fucking book these tickets. I've got an insider card, so I get a discount. Matt's got an insider card, so he gets a discount. Matt's girlfriend's got an insider card, so she gets a discount. I finally go in, and I try and book the tickets on one, and it's like, oh, there's no seats on this one. And I couldn't find any other viewing of it in subtitled. And I'm looking on all viewings all over the country, and it wouldn't show me the next viewing of it. Matt finds one on Friday that wouldn't show for me until I search specifically for the movie on the Friday.
Sneaky.
So it's like, well, that's shit web design for one.
Yeah.
Then go in, try and order the tickets, and I put my insider code in, and it says it doesn't work. Now, bear in mind, to get your insider code, you can't log into the website to find the code. Oh no, you can't find it on the website. You have to install the app to log into the app, to then click a QR code, which will give you the number under that, rather than just the same login on your computer. So that's a fucking mess as well.
Yeah.
And the cinema situation, though, like in-house when you get there, spot on. It was really good. I thought it was good.
I'm just glad we're going to the Showcase one in Knots, because they actually have like reclining leather seats and space between people, so it's like...
Yeah,
I don't like being next to people before the fucking virus, let alone after the virus.
Odeon in Derby's decent, but Odeon in Derby is definitely a little bit smaller, so it's a little bit more compact in the street. Well, we went in X Plus today, but the whole situation, the whole experience was very like they'd got it on point. You'd tell they knew what they were doing. They'd set it up really well, and I think that was like. Do you know what? This wasn't as like, because I was like, this could be like hellish and a bit like anxiety engaging and stuff, just like stuff like that. I think the only thing that was a bit annoying, it was in the morning when I went to the kitty cafe and there was just a bunch of kids running around, and kids are exempt from masks. I'm like, sit the fuck down at your table. Stop harassing these fucking cats.
Yeah.
None of the cats had come over to you because they're just fucking done with humans, because there's all these pissing little stompers back. Yo, he stroked the kitty! Yo, he stroked the kitty! You're like, fuck off!
I honestly fucking hate kitty cafes or dog cafes or any of this shit. I honestly fucking hate them, mainly because, like, fair enough, I love cat. I don't say I love cats. I like cats. I fucking love dogs. The issue isn't the dogs or the cats. It's the cunts that go into those places and the stress that's put on those animals.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're the worst people usually as well.
It was just the kids. I was just like, if this place was upped and put down to like, you've got to be 16 plus, 12.
Well, even 12 plus would be enough, because by then they should at least listen to their parents.
It's because like this dad's telling his kids multiple times, this little fucker's just going back and forth. Don't get me wrong, like, if I was a dad, I'd have ended up just taking my kid and fucking leaving. I'd go like, look, I've told you before, you gotta fucking stop it.
That's the thing that pisses me off. Like, at the end of the day, people are gonna have kids. Whatever. People are gonna go take their kids out.
Well, you've got to. If society is to continue as the government wishes.
But like, people are gonna take their kids out, and that's fair enough. But the thing that pisses me off is they'll tell their kids off, but there's never a kind of consequence to what's going on. Like, at the end of the day, if you've taken your kid to a restaurant or to especially a fucking cinema or these cafes, and they're playing up and they keep playing up, go home.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you could say you take them to a new fucking Toy Story movie and they're really excited about the Toy Story movie, but they're playing up at the beginning of the fucking movie, and you get up and take them home, it's like, no, not watching it anymore, we're going home.
They understand there's a consequence.
They'll kick off. Yeah, the kid will kick off and moan and cry and whatever, but they'll understand when they fuck up, there's a consequence to fucking up. And you don't need to shout at the kid. You don't need to have a go at the kid. You just need to explain there's consequences to actions.
Yeah. The showcase was really good to experience. The last time I went to a showcase, though, it wasn't the kid who was being... I went to an Odeon, sorry. It wasn't the kid or a cinema just in general. It wasn't the kid who was being a problem. It was the twat dad who was with him. Films actually started, and he's there taking a fucking picture. I took about 3 pictures with flash on. I'm sorry, if you're a grown man and you're taking photos with a flash on, if it wasn't the Pokemon movie and I told him to fucking stop, I'd have been like, fuck off with your pictures. But I was like, there's a lot of kids in here.
I'd have still shouted. I'd have just kept it slightly less explicit.
I'd have had to have been explicit because I just wanted to make sure he understood that I was saying he was a fucking moron.
I didn't give a shit about my expletives when I was doing stuff like this, because I was explaining to you guys at work. I've had 2 situations where I've had to tell people in the cinemas. So the first time, I think I wasn't fucking old. I wasn't like really young. It was back when The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came out. I'd already seen the movie, but I was taking my younger brother, I think it was my nephew as well, to go watch it.
I think you said your nephew, yeah.
And so we're watching this movie. Now, spoilers for fucking Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's a bit where they talk about this fucking tablet or table or whatever. And
it's the table.
When the lion dies on it, he comes back to life. Fuck it. Sorry about the spoilers, people. But at the beginning of the movie, you see this table. It's like a foreshadowed table kind of thing, but you don't know what's happening. This fucking grown man behind me, to his son, who's obviously excited about this movie, goes, "Yeah, that's the table where he's going to come back to life on." Now, he didn't whisper it. He literally spoke as loud as I did just then. Oh. And I literally turned to him and go, "You do realise you've just fucking ruined that for so many people around here? Shut up." And I just turned back and carried on watching it. And it's just like, okay. I'm there to try and enjoy something. I'm so glad I'd already seen it, because I was actually excited for that movie, because I kind of read the books when I was younger as well. But the
books were okay, weren't they? And the films were okay.
They were alright. But
yeah,
the better one I had was after that, and I can't even fucking remember what movie it was for. But I was there with, again, I think it was like my brother or something. I'd taken him to like probably a Star Wars movie, because I must have seen those movies in the cinemas. Like, I think I watched all of them in like the 1, 2, and 3. I watched like 4 or 5 times at least in cinemas. And I just sat there and watched a movie. I'm really enjoying it, and my chair gets kicked. So I was like, ignore it the first time. Chair gets kicked again a couple of minutes later. Ignored it that time as well. Then it gets kicked again. I turned around. It's this bigger bloke. I just went, "Oh, can you be careful, please? Because you keep kicking my chair and it's distracting me." He went, "Oh." I turned around, kind of watching it. A couple of minutes later, he kicks my chair again. So I turned around again. I went, "I've already asked once nicely. Can you please stop kicking my chair? Because you're distracting me and it's annoying me now." Turned around and carried on watching the movie. And then a couple of minutes later, he kicks my chair again. So I turned back round and literally said to him, "Maybe if you weren't so fucking fat that you could fit in these fucking chairs, you'd be able to sit comfortably and not kick me. Stop fucking kicking me." Turned back around and watched the movie. Never got kicked again after that.
Pretty sure you told him you'd break his legs as well.
Yeah,
I probably
did.
Sat
the rest of the film. He sat the rest of the film just like... just frozen in fear.
Can I just think? I posted a picture just as like, you know, the first thing where it's like 12A what you're watching. I posted that on my Instagram feed, and Tom, your brother Ollie, replied to my thing where I'm like, "Come on, lizard boy." He's like, "Fuck that Harambe knockoff."
He's not a real boy.
It's just fucking imagine that, like somebody knows that monkey flip one you got where from the trailer where it's like monkey flip. Woo.
Honestly, some of the memes that have come from that shit are brilliant. And I genuinely, I actually like. I used to fucking hate going to cinemas, mainly because
I'm
there was
not
just
big on
too.
it.
There was too many fucking people. I found it, unless it was a quiet cinema, I found it difficult to kind of like actually like enjoy the movie because there was just too many people talking around me because people don't respect it at all. The only time,
yeah, that's what Shrewsbury's like.
yeah, the only time I would go to like initial viewings would be for movies where it's like I really don't want any spoilers for this at all. So like when the Star Wars movies come out, I go watch those day one all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anything spoiled, because as shit as the most recent ones were compared, I still love them. It's still Star Wars. It's still something I've grown up with my dad. I go watch them in the cinemas with my dad day one every time, and it's kind of, it's not just for the Star Wars, it's also the connection I've got with my dad for them. Things like the big Marvel movies, like when Endgame came out and Infinity War, it's like I literally have to go watch this, because if I don't, I will be spoiled unless I avoid all social media. And apart from that, I'm usually more than happy to wait until it's like in the last week in the cinemas and go watch it when no one else is in the cinema, because it's just easier to watch.
I had to, because of just the shit situation we've been in with our films, I actually had to mute. I'm in a Toho Godzilla posting group on Facebook, and I was like, I'm gonna have to mute this bitch because I'm waiting to go and see this in the cinema, because I don't want to pay for it and watch it on my TV, where it's like, I want to go see some big fuck off monsters fight on the big screen, okay? I don't want to watch that first on TV and then be like, oh, go in and know what's happening. So I had to mute that. I was like, fucking radio silence, and I think I got like one slight spoiler, and I was like, thank fuck for that I didn't get any. But it's like, it's so frustrating that people put spoilers out, and luckily, I don't know if it's because I've not really been looking, but Demon Slayer, we've not had any spoilers yet. It's released, obviously it released in Japan first, then it was in Australia. I think are they doing, is it in America at the same time as us?
America and UK and Europe are all around the same time because it's Funimation.
I'm so surprised though we haven't had.
It's because it's anime, and let's face it, people kind of, as big as anime is, people
there's a bit of respect there.
It's not even that there's a respect. It's still not that big.
They don't talk about it,
it's not talked about. Like, let's face it, you get the certain people where like they will be overt about anime, but let's face it, even anime fans take the piss out of those kinds of fans.
You fucking weeb.
It's like they're the kind of fans that call themselves an otaku, and they don't seem to understand that otaku is a very derogative term in Japanese. It's like
otaku literally just means like nerd. Like you could be an otaku.
No, it's obsessive nerd. It's not just like, because let's face it, you can be a nerd about something and that's fine because it shows you've got passion about it. An otaku nerd is just literally all they fucking do is that, and it's to the point where it's like taking over their life kind of thing. It's to the point where like Ollie being say Ollie was a gun otaku, it wouldn't be that Ollie just talks about guns and goes shoot guns. It was like everything Ollie talks about is guns. Everything Ollie does is about guns. Everything he watches is about
personally
guns.
Attacked.
I will only eat a specifically handcrafted spaghetti hoops, like spaghetti shapes, gun-shaped spaghetti.
I want my
like
Kalashnikov hoops.
like the Thomas the Tank Engine ones. He's just got like a fucking pallet of them from 1986 that are like they don't make anymore.
I want my frosted Glockios.
I
want my grenade nuts.
I want my chocolate grenade cake. But yeah,
Mother, this year I wanted an AK-56.
Finally, AK-48.
I fucking look. I can see the exact meme you're doing. It's that fucking scientist guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that fucking meme's brilliant.
I delete the AK.
You need to make that meme and put it on your Captain Crack shooting shack.
I will.
No, you need to do that literally as soon as we finish this because that's.
I'll do it right. I'm gonna get it ready now.
It's fucking brilliant. Just put that in your shooting one because you know they'll love that one.
Yeah.
But I think with that we'll call it for the day. I'm glad we're all here. We're all having fun. Don't know what we're going to talk about next week because usually we decide what we're going to talk about 20 minutes before we start.
Well, we'll have watched Demon Slayer, so we can put in our 10 cents on that.
We'll do a 20-second review. Animation was alright. Action was alright. 8 out of 10.
It's alright. Yeah.
Animation is always good. What I expected from Demon Slayer. Movie, not too bad, not too shabby. Glad I didn't see it in the English voice acting. Shit.
It would just be that. Actually, the dub is more superior. I mean, very quickly before we finish, there are very, very few anime where the dub is superior. Very few.
It's not even superior. It's usually just a case of them being the same level, I'd usually say.
Well, no. The Black Lagoon dub is superior than the sub.
I couldn't say. I've only watched part of the first series in...
I'm going to upset you both massively now. I only ever watched the dub.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll kill you, bitch.
I never watched sub. Unless, of course, it was one, say that... if it was like I could only find it in sub, I'd watch it. But if there's a dub, I will always watch that.
I think the thing is, too many people get hung up on that shit. It's like, at the end of the day, if they're enjoying it, they're enjoying it. And I mean, I still watch all of the Mobile Suit Gundams in dub, apart from the ones that aren't in dub, mainly because... that's what I fucking grew up on. That's what I know, and that's what I enjoy. But the reason why I say Black Lagoon is a better dub than sub is because they have all got good voice actors, like very good voice actors, and this thing's meant to be in English anyway. All the characters are meant to be speaking English, and that's why it gets really fucking weird when all the characters have been speaking Japanese in the sub, and they then go to Japan and they have to take the Japanese character to translate for them because they don't understand Japanese. So the dub is superior because everyone speaks the correct language in the dub, so they all speak English unless the characters are speaking a different language. So it's all done correctly. And there's a show called Psychopaths where they had a movie where apparently the dub was a shit show, the sub was a shit show. So what they did... there is a fan dub where basically they took the voices from the Japanese sub and the English dub and they mixed them together. So the Japanese characters speak Japanese, and when they try to speak English, they use the actual Japanese characters speaking English, so it's got that really bad accent. But then all the other characters speaking other languages, they use the English dub, which puts them in the correct language. And apparently that fan dub saved that movie.
That's pretty cool.
Anyway, we need to finish up, otherwise that's another fucking topic we could easily talk for another hour about. Anyway, so you can follow me on this channel for Twitch if you want to. I'm on Twitter as well with IKTOasis. And Ryan, do you want to plug your shit?
Fuck is my thing?
Every week. Every fucking week.
At Corrupt Photo on Twitter. At corrupt_aesthetic on Instagram, and my Facebook page is actually corrupt aesthetic, all one word. But they're all linked on my Twitter anyway, so just go to my Twitter.
Your Instagram's probably only going to get busy as soon as we go to Japan. Let's face it. That's exactly what
I've still got content to upload from last year. I just don't upload shit on there. I'm sorry.
And Ollie, what do you want to plug?
You can follow me on either of my Instagrams, either Slopsiberian or at Captain Crack's Shooting Shack.
Where we're going to have the finally AK-48.
AK-48.
Finally, AK-48. Yeah, I'll get on that.
I love AK-48.
I love refrigerators. And I would plug like the email and whatnot. It's contextneededuk@gmail.com. @contextneeded1 is the Twitter handle. We usually have a lot more talking there, but we need to finish up, and I want to go play more Persona.
Really can't be asked tonight.
Yeah, I'm fucking done. After this week with my technology situations and whatnot, I want to go back downstairs and fucking play Persona and just escape into
Carry
that
a
world.
pigeon. Just send us a fucking letter. Just send us a fucking letter. That's all we want. I'm sick of internet. I'm sick of technology. That's it.
But we will be back next week, where again we'll decide what we're going to speak about within 20 seconds of starting the show. And with that, thank you all very much for listening. Thank you all very much for watching. Tell your friends about us. Tell your family about us. Make sure your grandma knows, because we do like grandmas. They're always very nice to speak to.
Yeah.
And with that, we will see you guys later. Thanks very much.
Bye bye now. Bye bye. See you later.